in order to connect the waistband and the pouch, you're going to have to go back to page 3 and see the number of stitches you need to count to connect the middle of the pouch to the middle of the waistband. So for size small, it's going to be 100 stitches from the middle seam of the waistband. So you're basically going to start counting from where that middle seam is on the waistband that we just did. So you're going to want to count where the single crochet stitches are, not the foundation chain side, because we're going to be slip stitching into the back loop only when connecting the pouch. So for the small, you're going to start by counting 100 stitches starting from that middle seam. And once you count the 100th stitch, just make sure to put a stitch marker in there, and then we are going to connect the pouch and waistband together. Okay, so we're gonna slip stitch seam the middle seam of the pouch with that 100 stitch that we stitch marked on the waistband. Pull through. And now we're going to pull the tail end of the yarn just to fasten it and make sure it's secured. Okay, so once we reinsert our yarn, we are going to yarn over and pull through to slip stitch through both the waistband and the pouch. And just pull that tail end of the yarn to make sure it's nice and secured there. And now we're going to continue by going into every corresponding stitch. So we're going to go into both loops on the pouch side, but only the back loop on the waistband side. And that is because when we flip it inside out, it gives it a nicer design. But make sure that you're going into both loops of the pouch for extra security, but on the waistband, just go through the back loop. So I'm going to continue here into that next stitch, and then into the corresponding back loop on the next side. Okay, so you're gonna keep going until you reach the end of the pouch. So you're gonna line up each corresponding stitch of the pouch to the back loop only of the waistband. And once you hit the last stitch on the pouch, you're gonna cut your yarn and fasten off. And then we're gonna basically just do the same exact thing on the other side, but since we're flipping our work, we're gonna work into the front loop only of the waistband and then both stitches on the pouch.